What if I told you that just 1% effort could explode your life? Not 100%, not 50%, just 1%. Sounds crazy, right? We're conditioned to think we need massive action to achieve massive results. But the truth is, lasting change is the product of consistent small wins, of tiny habits compounded over time. If you got just 1% better each day for a year, you would end up 37 times better than when you started. It's the small things done consistently that create remarkable results. In this video, I'm going to break down the 1% rule, a system for skyrocketing your success through tiny changes, daily actions, and the incredible power of compounding. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear this and get ready to see your life explode. The foundation of the 1% rule is built on the power of tiny habits. In my book, Atomic Habits, I talk about the importance of making your habits so small that they're almost too easy to fail. We often get caught up in the allure of making drastic changes. We tell ourselves we're going to go from couch potato to marathon runner, from procrastinator to productivity machine, overnight. But these grand ambitions often lead to disappointment and frustration, because they require a level of willpower we simply don't have yet. Instead of aiming for a complete overhaul, focus on making tiny, incremental improvements each day. Think about it like this. Even the most magnificent oak tree starts its life as a tiny seed. It doesn't spring from the ground fully formed, it grows slowly, steadily, one tiny bit at a time. Consider the story of Leonardo da Vinci. He didn't wake up one day and paint the Mona Lisa. His genius was cultivated through a lifetime of tiny habits. He made it a habit to sketch every single day. People, objects, landscapes, anything that caught his eye. These small, consistent actions, these seemingly insignificant strokes of his pen, gradually transformed him into the artistic legend we know today. Studies have shown that when we focus on building tiny habits, we're 80% more likely to stick with them over the long term compared to attempting to implement big, drastic changes. Small changes are much easier to integrate into our lives because they don't trigger the same resistance. So, what's your tiny habit going to be? What's the 1% change you can make today that will set you on the path to massive results? Maybe it's doing one push-up every morning, reading one page of a book each day, or meditating for just 1 minute. Don't underestimate the power of these small actions. Remember, oaks start from acorns. Pick your 1% and start today. The key is consistency, not intensity. Now, once you've mastered the art of implementing tiny habits, it's time to take it to the next level, habit stacking. The idea is simple. Stack a new habit onto an existing one. By linking a new behavior to something you already do consistently, you leverage the existing neural pathways in your brain, making it significantly easier to adopt the new habit. Think of it like this. You're already brushing your teeth every morning, right? That's a habit that's deeply ingrained in your routine. Now let's say you want to start meditating each day. Instead of trying to create a whole new routine for meditation, simply stack it onto your existing toothbrushing habit. After you brush your teeth, meditate for just 1 minute. Easy, right? Benjamin Franklin, one of the most influential figures in American history, was a master of habit stacking. He understood that success wasn't the result of some grand, sweeping gesture, but rather the accumulation of small, strategic actions taken consistently over time. He deliberately focused on improving himself by 1% each day, stacking one good habit on top of another. He had a daily routine that included time for reading, writing, learning new languages, and experimenting with new ideas. He didn't try to do everything at once, but rather focused on mastering one habit at a time, stacking it onto his existing routine until it became second nature. This allowed him to make remarkable progress in a variety of areas, eventually shaping him into the polymathic genius we remember today. So, what's one habit you can stack onto your existing routine today? Maybe it's listening to a podcast while you walk the dog, doing a quick workout while you wait for your coffee to brew, or practicing gratitude while you brush your teeth. The possibilities are endless. Remember, small changes, when compounded over time, can lead to extraordinary results. Chapter 3. Track your progress, fuel your motivation. We've talked about the power of tiny habits and the importance of habit stacking, but there's another crucial element to the 1% rule: tracking your progress. It might seem like a small thing, but visually seeing your progress, no matter how small, can be incredibly motivating. It's a way to hold yourself accountable, celebrate your wins, and stay focused on your goals. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld famously used this strategy to become a better comic. He had a simple system. He hung a large calendar on his wall, and every day that he wrote new jokes, he would mark a big red X on that day. His only goal was to not break the chain of X's. This simple act of tracking his progress, of visually seeing his commitment, helped him stay motivated and consistent, ultimately contributing to his massive success in the comedy world. Studies have shown that tracking your progress toward a goal can increase your likelihood of success by up to 60%. That's because when you track your progress, you activate the reward centers in your brain, releasing dopamine, which makes you feel good and motivates you to keep going. Think about it. When you check something off your to-do list, don't you feel a sense of accomplishment? That's dopamine at work. By tracking your progress, you're essentially hacking your brain's reward system, turning the often arduous process of habit formation into something enjoyable and rewarding. I've experienced the power of tracking firsthand. I used to struggle with getting enough sleep. I knew it was important, but I would constantly find myself staying up late, sacrificing sleep for work or other commitments. Then, I started tracking it. I got a simple notebook, and each morning I would write down how many hours of sleep I got the night before. The act of writing it down, of seeing the numbers on the page, made me more aware of my sleep patterns, and motivated me to prioritize getting enough rest. Chapter 4. Push your limits, unleash your potential. Now, here's where the 1% rule gets really exciting, pushing your limits. Once you've established a foundation of tiny habits, stacked your wins, and implemented a system for tracking your progress, it's time to start pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. The ancient Spartans, renowned for their military prowess and unwavering discipline, understood the importance of continually pushing their limits. They didn't become legendary warriors overnight. It was a process of gradual, relentless improvement. They embraced discomfort, constantly seeking challenges that forced them to adapt, grow, and become stronger. Each day they aimed to be just 1% better than the day before, pushing their physical and mental limits through grueling training regimens and unwavering dedication. This relentless pursuit of incremental improvement transformed them into the most formidable fighting force of their time. Neuroscience has shown that when we consistently push ourselves beyond our comfort zones, even in small ways, we rewire our brains. We increase our capacity for learning, adaptability, and resilience. This process, known as neuroplasticity, is what allows us to continuously grow and evolve throughout our lives. For example, I used to dread public speaking. The thought of getting up in front of a crowd and sharing my ideas filled me with anxiety. But I knew that if I wanted to share my work with the world, I needed to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, I started small. I joined Toastmasters, a public speaking group, and committed to giving a short speech every week. Each time I got up to speak, I could feel the familiar wave of anxiety wash over me, but each time I pushed through it. Chapter 5. Patience plus consistency equals explosive growth. We've covered a lot of ground: tiny habits, habit stacking, tracking your progress, pushing your limits. But there's one final crucial element to the 1% rule: patience. Real lasting change takes time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And just like a marathon runner, you need to pace yourself, trust the process, and never give up. Consider Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time. He didn't amass his billions overnight. His wealth was built slowly, steadily over decades, through a disciplined approach to investing and a deep understanding of the power of compounding. He famously said, "Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." That's the power of patience and consistency. It's about playing the long game, about trusting that even small, consistent actions, compounded over time, can lead to extraordinary results. Think of it like this: if you were to fold a piece of paper in half 42 times, it would reach the moon. That's the power of compounding. It might seem unbelievable at first, but it's true. The same principle applies to personal growth. Small, consistent actions taken day after day can create exponential results over time. When I first started creating content for peak productivity, I had a tiny audience. My videos were getting a handful of views, and I wasn't sure if anyone was even listening. But I was determined to share my message with the world, so I kept going. I committed to creating one video every week, even if it meant staying up late or working weekends. There you have it, the 1% rule. Remember, this isn't just some productivity hack, it's a blueprint for a life of explosive growth. Start tiny, stack your wins, track your progress, push your limits, and be patient. That's it. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your 1% commitment going to be? Let me know in the comments below.